So today what we're going to look at is or next couple of weeks actually, a lot of people have been asking me recently about knee shield from half guard. And it's one of my favorite positions to play from. So over the next couple of weeks, we're going to look at some different sweeps and submissions that we can use from this position. So we're going to start off pretty much as basic as it comes for the knee shield position today. What I like about the knee shield is makes sure that I have this barrier between me and my partner. If we have just a general half guard, so I have my one leg wrapped over my partner's inside leg and I've just triangled up my legs, he's able to get his hips to my hips, he's able to reach with his arms and he's able to flatten me out. So for me as a jiu-jitsu player here, this is not a good position for me. What I want to be able to do is bring this shin in front, so when he tries to make or get rid of that space, I have this barrier between me and him. It's important that we set this up correct though, so he's not able to just break this down. So number one, the leg that's through on the inside, we need to make sure that we're really active with the foot and pushing the foot down towards the floor. If I just leave this foot loose like this, it's relatively easy for him to window wipe his leg out. He pins my leg to the floor and then it's an easy pass for him. So active toes to the floor, so when he tries to window wipe the leg, I'm able to trap that leg in place. Number two, where we put the shield sometimes depends on what my partner's doing, but if we aim for like a 45-degree angle across our body, we're never going to go far wrong with that. Foot latches onto the side, then it's about where I'm going to put my hands. Even if I've got my knee at this 45-degree angle, pretty easy for my partner to just start using his weight and breaking my knee down, and once my knees are together, it's easy for him to be able to pass. So I'm going to support this leg by putting my hand onto the shoulder, or if you prefer, you can make a grip inside your partner's gi. Either way is fine, but I'm looking to put this elbow underneath the knee, so when he tries to break that knee down now, I have a bit more of a base to stop him from being able to do that. This hand is going to manage this one initially, because what I don't want him to be able to do is grab hold of my gi here and then start pulling me in towards, then it's easier for him to break this knee down, and then again it's easier for him to pass. So we want to create this like little bubble. So the shin comes up across, elbow underneath, either grip onto the shoulder or grip inside the gi, and then this hand is going to manage this arm to make sure he's not able to make any grips. If he does make grips with either hand, so if this hand comes in and grips here, we're going to need to strip those grips off. If he makes a grip here, I'm going to need to look to strip that grip off. I cannot allow him to have any of those grips on my gi. Once we've set ourselves in our position, we can start looking for the sweeps that we want. So the first sweep we're going to go for is one of my favorite ones called an old school sweep. So you guys that have been around the club for a while, probably seen this lots of times, but it's a really, really important sweep from this half guard position. So the first thing we need to look for is underhook on this side. My knee is currently in that underhook position. I'm going to kick that leg through, and as the leg kicks through, it leaves this little triangle of space, which is where my arm is going to follow through. My leg is going to drop down to the floor, so it enables me to come up towards my partner. So from the shield, I'm going to kick the leg through, follow through with my underhook, drop my leg so it enables me to come up to my elbow and get nice and deep with the underhook. Now I'm going to try to get myself right underneath my partner. So I'm going to take this hand, dive it underneath, and I'm going to look for his foot on the far side. Lift his foot up and pin his toes to his butt. If you can't reach, it's probably that you're reaching too much over the body. Bring your arm down to the leg. So underhook arm comes down to the leg so we can reach the toes and pin them in. Hold the knee. Once that knee's pinched in tight, we switch our legs over. So we take the half guard leg off, other leg over, gonna start to drag. You notice what happens when I start to drag that foot. His hips start to drop. Then we start to move ourselves up to this top position. Step off the leg, bring my leg in behind his leg so I keep his hips keeled to the side, and then make my way up in for the sweep and the pass. So first things first, get yourself in this nice solid position so that he's not able to break it down and start looking to pass. Kick your leg through, arm follow through as well. Dropping your leg here is going to enable you to come up to your elbow. Don't just try to come up to your elbow like this. Pull your elbow behind you. and drive yourself up into your partner. This little space underneath is where I'm looking to dive to. Pull him on top of you at the same time. Reach down, grab the toes. So he can't flare this knee too much. We're going to block the knee. Now it's about switching the legs. Bring the half guard leg off, drop the foot, start to torque the leg out, drive my shoulder into my partner, kill the hips, and up through for the pass. Okay? So, this is where I think we need to start for knee shield. Obviously, getting the right position for the knee shield, make sure you're playing with that and getting arms, knees all in the right place. But this is the sweep that we need to start with if we're starting to play knee shield half guard position. Okay? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. This one's going to be just a nice quick one. So, just a quick note here. When I've gone up for this underhook and I've dove underneath through his foot, my head position is going to be really important. My head wants to tuck into the inside of this knee. If I dive underneath and I've grabbed the foot and I've still got my head stuck out like this, then you can either cross face and then push me back flat, or you can even start looking over for the guillotine as well. So this way. So I need to make sure that I hide my head completely away so those two options are not available to him. So as I dive underneath and I lift up this foot, like think about like head butting the inside of his leg like this. So really like come down in close. If I leave this out at all, then he's going to start pushing me back flat again. In nice and deep, head in, hold, switch, and we go. Now, for whatever reason, we start driving in and my partner's not having it. He puts out the base and he's doing a really good job at keeping himself in that position. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly switch this up on him. So I'm going to drive my hips forwards and I'm going to start shrimping underneath. Now what might happen is he might base on the other side. If he bases on the other side and stops me from going that way, then I go back and I kind of make this into like a pendulum sweep. In that I'll go one way, I try to go back the other way, he keeps basing and we just keep overbalancing him until we're able to hit the sweep. So this second sweep is called a plan B sweep. So basically, the old school didn't work. So I'm driving forwards, it's not quite working out for me. He's pushing back in towards me because he doesn't want to get swept. So I'm going to pull my hips underneath and I'm going to keep driving. Now if I can keep driving, I will. Over the top, bring my knee underneath and come up to the top position. But let's say I go for this plan B and he bases on the other side. Now I can't get him that way. So now I just switch it back and I go back in for the old school sweep. Okay? So all I want you to have a little play with switching between the old school and plan B. Like hit the plan B first as the person on top, let them work it a little bit, and then try to resist on both sides, and we can just keep switching. So if I'm here and I'm trying to drive forwards for the old school, he bases and pushes back, I drive my hips underneath, try to switch it. If he bases now on this side, I now switch, go back, and I try to get him so much off balance, his hips so much compromised, that one of those sweeps is going to work at some point. So let's switch between old school and plan B. 1, 2, 3. All right, good. Last one. So again, all off of the same position. Got the knee shields, we've kicked through, and we've come up to this underhook position. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to go into a dog fight. I'm going to try to stay on my elbow, keep my head tightened to my partner. So instead of dropping down, like we still could actually, we could still go down into this, and let's say this is not working, we could take the elbow out and we could still come up into the dog fight position. Well, we're going to do it from a little earlier position. We've come up with that initial underhook and up onto the elbow. So nice and deep with this underhook on the far side, keep him in nice and close. I'm going to take my foot now, bring it over the top, and I'm going to start to drag my partner's foot out at the same time as I'm pushing myself into my partner. So I drag his foot out, push into my partner, and I take my leg out like this. So we both kind of look like we're in the same position here. The main difference is that I'm the one with the underhook and he's not, okay? So let's look at a couple of options that we can do from this position once we're here. Number one, the likelihood is that this guy's gonna do a whizzer on my arm. If he doesn't whizzer and he's still got his arm across the body, I'm just gonna flick underneath and I've got a back take available to me. So most like decent jiu-jitsu players are gonna whizzer the arm. Like he can like use that whizzer quite effectively just to like knock me back down. So I've got to be aware of that. Two main options that we're gonna go for from here. Number one, this far knee. I'm gonna reach across and tap it and pull the knee back in towards me as I drive my body into my partner and down, over, and set through. I've already got the underhook on the far side. Or, here, I go to drive, I'm driving, and he starts pushing hard back at me. Because he's got the whizzer in, he has no base on this side, so I drive, he pushes back, I go with the momentum, I dive under his hamstring, and I roll over the top and come up into this top position. So again, from the knee shield, we kick through, we come up into the underhook. Drag his foot out, drive in, take my knee out. If you're worried about a rolling knee bar here, which is available because I've got my leg between his legs, I need to make sure that my foot is trapping his foot and not the other way around. If he's got it this way, he can dive under and he can roll through and he's got a knee bar. I'm going to take my foot over the top of his and we'll stop the knee bar there. Two main options. Tap the knee, we drive forwards until my partner drops down and we look for the pass the legs. I drive in and he's driving back and I can feel that drive back. So I'm going to dive underneath, like through his leg, underneath his hamstring, drop to my shoulder, roll through and up to the top, okay? So let's see if number one, we can get into the dogfight position. Then number two, depending on what my partner's reaction is, whether they're just kind of stable base, we tap the knee, we drive forwards. But if he's particularly driving back in towards me, then we can hit that rollover sweep through to side control, okay? If your partner's not whizzering, the back take's always there. Let's do it, 1, 2, 3, let's go.